Here we go.
Ready?
1, 2, 3, record.
Oh, I didn't hit it.
All right.
Fuck you, Billy.
I'm kidding.
Fuck
I'm kidding.
you.
Okay.
And welcome, ladies, gentlemen, amphibians,
Sunset.
and more, to the Billy Bobby Hour.
Yes, amphibians,
Amphibians.
hermaphrodidians, Billy Bobby. We should make like an After Effects thing that just kind of like
Yeah, we need like an intro song or
Yeah,
something.
stays in.
Billy Bobby.
Evan made this whole soundboard for sound effects. That he
Did
hasn't
you really?
utilized yet.
I did. I'm on the laptop that's supposed to be sound effects. So when I get my webcam, we'll have a whole.
I
I
showed
get
our
webcam.
I showed our first pilot to a couple of my friends, and they were like, "Man, you're kind of funny, but you gotta loosen up with all the farts and the, you know." Evan was on the fart button, just like.
Oh, that one. I thought you were talking about this one, the first one. Of this one. I was like, we don't have any farts.
The very first.
Yeah, I'm like,
one.
wait a minute. I'm
Well,
like,
I've
what?
farted a couple times, but
Me too.
Now,
I've
when
been
you say
farting.
loosen up with the farts, are you saying like loosen up so like more farts escape? Like
No,
you
I
want more
used
farts?
too many
or-
farts.
Okay. Just to be clear.
the quantity
I
was too
would've-
great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
a little
Whereas, like, there wasn't
obnoxious
enough.
on the
Like, loosen up,
fartations.
loosen it up a little bit so the farts just kind of.
And it wasn't just farts, there were nipples and all sorts of.
Like the sound
Ex-
that.
exclamation.
You're excited. Feel
Yeah.
these nipples. It's
My
Tobias.
nipples
Yeah.
look like milk duds.
Who wants to guess where this is playing behind me?
Ooh,
Your ass.
it's the Susquehanna
dude.
River.
No,
The
it is
Susquehanna.
Croatia.
It is Croatia. How did you know that?
Wow, I took literally a shot in the dark because
Really?
Croatia is going to be, Croatia is going to be, if it's not already, it's like the new Iceland. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like before Iceland was kind of the obscure weird thing, like only hipsters went. And then like a couple people, like the trickle effect, will go to Croatia and it's a beautiful place. No reason
Obviously.
people shouldn't go. And then, but watch, it's going to like explode where that becomes like the new Iceland, if you will.
Yeah. All them.
That's
fucking-
cool. I've never been. Have you been?
hipsters
Is that
travel.
footage you took?
No. Oh, hell no. This is beautiful.
Of course.
Oh, God, no.
Oh.
I was saying last week.
No, I was just looking for something peaceful because last time my background was chaotic and distracting.
Whoa! Nicolas Cage!
Nicolas Cage. Wait, but so
Um,
in looking at this, I was like, oh, let me see what Croatia looks like. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Croatia literally has taken all of the beachfront property from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Look, Bosnia has one beach.
That's hilarious.
One. Like, how
Just
rude is
one.
that?
Yeah, you
There-
keep all the inland. Just let
There
us.
must
Yeah,
Take the beach.
exactly.
there
And
must have been
Slovenia,
wars
too.
fought over that, and they're just like, nah, we got all this. Don't
Well,
even-
I understand. Now I'm really trying to test my World War One knowledge here, but I'm sure that after all that, they definitely had some discussions about how they're splitting up all that property. Croatia definitely came out on top on that one.
Yeah, I would say so. Use some defenestrations to their advantage, perhaps.
You
That's
say
just like,
deep penetrations.
Yeah, what's up?
Yes.
That
World,
escalated quickly.
world
Deep
politics
penetrations.
is run by the Deep Penetrations Alliance.
True.
That's what I heard.
Oh yeah.
What it says in my encyclopedia.
Who's
You
encyclopedia?
own an
You
encyclopedia?
wrote
Who
an
has
encyclopedia.
encyclopedias anymore?
Dude, that's how do you get your facts?
That's old
The Cinco fax
technology.
machine?
That brings us to our newest episode, Uncurrent Events with Billy Bobby.
Oh, God. Do you want to hear them?
Yes,
Give
what
us
is
a-
Alright.
uncurrent with you right now?
So actually, we can play onion or not onion. That's what these current events were for. So
Shoddy, not onion.
no, you're gonna tell me whether you think it's an onion
have to
article
guess.
or you think that
Oh,
it's
okay,
real.
okay.
All right.
All right, for sure.
First one. Dave Grohl admits to the Foo Fighters that the Foo Fighters are dad rock.
The onion.
You
Real.
think it's the Onion?
Not the
Yeah.
Onion.
Not the Onion. Not the Onion.
Is that the
Yeah,
answer?
not the
It's
Onion.
not the Onion.
Yeah, no, it's real.
He actually said that.
Wow.
That's not very
Um,
rock and roll of him, but he's Dave Grohl, so
Here's
he can say
another
whatever
one.
the fuck he wants.
Does anyone
Ah,
does anyone think that Dave Grohl is a little overrated?
You shut your mouth right now.
Yeah. Let's
of.
not go
I
there.
knew I would get that feedback from you two, but Evan, I would love to know your opinion.
yes.
Just a little bit. Just
No,
like
I think that
I
he's-
appreciate Dave Grohl. Are you kidding me? Like Nirvana all the way. Foo Fighters. I like Foo Fighters. Who doesn't? But
I have nothing wrong with him. I just wouldn't put him up there with like
right.
the goats.
Right.
I think for rock, yes. But if
Yeah,
you're gonna say like musicians, like you,
Yeah, 100%.
especially with how broad it is right now, with how
I was
much.
gonna say
shit
that-
there is.
Yeah, and I still think that Foo Fighters is still one of the like great like rock and roll bands of not old, but older.
I mean, they're pretty old,
Well-
man. They've been around
Well,
since
yeah, well
95.
that's what I'm saying. It's like it's not classic rock, right? They're not
No,
classic.
it is classic
but-
rock. I hear
At
it
this
on.
point,
I hear it on the Q1043.
Does that qualify as classic rock? Either way, what I'm
Is
saying
that how
is,
you know you're officially out of the
classic
now?
rock was
Yeah,
made in our
get to
lifespan.
104.
That's how old we are.
AJ, you look like I'm looking at you and I'm shit faced, and I know that's not how you normally look.
like when
what
you go
happened
into
to
the
your
bathroom
camera?
during a party
Yeah,
and
and
you
you're
had
like,
a couple drinks and you're just like the fake music is just like and you're just like checking yourself out in
No,
the
no,
mirror
no,
real
I'm
quick.
good.
That
I'm
was-
fine.
Yeah,
I'm
it's like-
fine. There's like
It's
throw
like,
up all
look
over your
at you, you
face.
stud muffin.
Just
Like, I
drooling.
just gotta go pee. What you looking at?
That was me last night. So I got back from
With
Florida.
what, grandma?
and-
Oh.
No, and I walked down to my neighbor's house, my buddy's house, and he's throwing a fucking raging party, and I'm like, holy shit! So I end up drinking and gambling, and I got so shitty because I haven't like drank or anything like that in a long time. And I got up from the cards table to go take a piss, and it all just like hit me, and I was like, oh fuck. And
When
I'm
you get
standing
up
there. I'm standing there peeing on a tree, and then I just like, oh, and hit my head on the tree and was like holding the tree to finish my piss. And then I puked all over.
No
the place.
hands.
Ah. Well,
I can't hang anymore, guys.
nobody can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
I can't
man.
hang either, man.
That's
You have to
okay.
hang through all those bad hangs again to get to be able to hang all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't wanna do it.
And none of us want to go through that
Yeah, it's
shit
not worth it.
again. I spent
a lot of
freshman year
hanging.
doing that. I'm okay with doing that once.
And that's
Yeah.
how old we are, everyone. We can't hang anymore, and Foo Fighters is classic
And
rock.
Foo Fighters is classic rock.
All right, I got
Dude, it
another one for
totally
you
is,
guys. I got another one.
But let me say something for Dave Grohl, because Dave Grohl has not had a chance to be defended here.
Okay.
We're talking
all right,
about-
that's fair.
A man who brings energy and passion to every show, and he's been
Sure.
doing it for years. And you could go see a lot of different classic rock bands, and they don't bring that much energy to it. So you gotta love the man. He broke his
Totally,
leg
and
falling off the
Which
stage
is
in a show, got his leg reset, and went back out
Mm.
and finished the show with a Swiss doctor holding his leg in place. And then continued the
yeah, he's
tour.
a hardcore kind of dude.
Continued the tour, and they built this huge epic like throne for him out of lights and guitars, and he was like, robotically transported all over the stage and shit, and he rocked just as hard from that chair as he did on stage, because I've seen him
That was a
twice.
good show, man.
It was a
I'm
great
not-
show.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all. The
Agreed.
fact that he's
Same.
got energy in a live show and that he's an amazing musician. Even Dave Grohl has said himself, none of this shit is complicated. And he's like, I don't know how we're as popular as we are because it's not difficult. And whoa, I knew what I was going to say, but now I forgot. Oh, so I feel like people, to me, sometimes Foo Fighters are like the heavy rock or metal that like some people are into, and I'm thinking like Brads and Chads and like fucking people like that. and they're like, yeah, man, I fucking love the Foo Fighters. And it's like, oh, you ever listen to Iron Maiden? They're like, who the fuck is that? And it's like, okay, well, you're a piece of shit. So it's like, they're like, yeah, man, I love hard shit. Yeah, man, fucking Foo Fighters. And I'm like, yeah, Foo Fighters is the hardest thing to listen to. No, I'm not judging you, but don't tell me you listen to hard shit if Foo Fighters is the hardest shit you're listening to.
But I think too that Foo Fighters, like for sure, like AJ, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Which is why I would say that Foo Fighters is still one of the great, like, let's call it like classic, like rock, like bands that still exist today. In fact, they're not. I wouldn't consider them classic rock, like as far as time goes, because they're not.
No, dude, they're just rock.
They haven't been out there as long as like Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, like Motorhead, like all those guys that are out there, but they're rock, and they are probably, like, I'm thinking this time and age, as prevalent as they are right now, they're still one of the last like great like rock bands that still are out right now. And now it's like there's a lot more. It's gotten a little like more indie, or it's gotten a little more. They're different as time goes on. There's different influences that go on, but Foo Fighters is definitely like one of the last.
They're relevant.
Of that sound, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
and they're still relevant.
To bring it full circle, the question was, do you think they're overrated, or he's overrated? And
the question was,
I don't know who you're talking to, but yes. I don't think he's overrated.
Yeah, I don't think he's overrated either. I mean, he's got how many platinum albums?
Wait,
he has like so many world tours. The dude sold out Wembley, and it was easy, and then
yeah.
The band is huge. Overrated, I don't know. Are they old? Have they been out for a while? Yeah, definitely.
I think Evan
right?
and Julian know people that just like worship them like they are one of the top 5 bands ever. And like, yeah, I wouldn't put them in a top 5 band ever, but like, is that where this is coming from?
But they could be a great band, but they're still classic rock. I mean, they're over 20 years old, and that's like, it's classic. It sounds nothing like what's being made now.
Yeah, and I think if you classify it as like classic cars are classified, right? Like, what is it that like as long as you reach a certain age, like you enter into that classic car like classification. So if it's like 20 years, if you're 20 years old or older, and that's considered classic rock, like yeah, sure, you're classic rock. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying what you're saying, AJ, is like is that like, yes, I think that might be what it is. Is like that I have nothing personal, like there's nothing wrong, I think, with like Dave Grohl or anything like that. But it might be some of my interactions with people. I don't know, Evan, if it's the same for you, where it's just like, yo, this guy is a god.
Yeah,
and it's like,
you guys do run in.
Slow down, slow your roll there. But.
Hi. It's getting hot out here.
I think the word overrated is the wrong word, because overrated implies that
it might be
negative, and I have no negative feelings
I
at
agree.
all.
So I take that word back.
I think overrated is the wrong word. I think it's like oh god, it's like anybody else. So hard to explain. Like I feel like they're. I don't know. I can't think of the right. Hi, puppy. I can't think of the right wording.
For the sake of who's winning what argument in this case, I would say that James and AJ, you have won this argument because we have not put a very good defense up for Dave Grohl. But Dave, if you're ever watching this, like, I still salute you, brother.
Team Grohl.
Yeah.
Team Grohl.
We'll get T-shirts and jackets made soon. Hi.
Well.
Who's this?
The puppy.
It's a puppy. Hi, puppy.
Hey, you're good. Go down.
Speaking of puppies,
down, dog.
What we agreed we would table for this week was
and then like have no concern for like other people. Like other people might not find that hygienic. And I'm not saying we should bend to the will of every Karen that looks like that we're like eating across from, you know what I mean? But
because she will speak to the manager.
Remind me, or you know what? Let me rip off of this for 1 second. I just saw a thing yesterday about a Karen. A Karen messaged a Facebook community about Karens saying that it's offensive to her because her name is Karen. The guy responded and he was like, this is exactly why. She's like, I'm going to get my lawyer involved and blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't understand how this is affecting my life. And he was like,
you're exemplifying.
Clearly you don't understand why this exists.
You're proving everyone's point.
Yeah. He's like, it has nothing to do with the name. It has to do with the life or the personality, and she could not seem to grasp it. It was the most ironic thing ever.
The personality that you sign up for once you're named Karen for the rest of your life. Great. Grand. Wonderful.
No yelling on the bus! Do you want to hear the next one? You want to hear another one?
Man.
All right. So let's try to get through these without discussing every one.
So you're just running through your list right now? I love this. All right,
we're going to run through the list of onion or real. Okay. Here's the next one. Town accidentally advertises photos with Satan, not Santa, at a local Christmas parade.
I think that's real.
I'm laughing too hard, and I just want to say onion, but now after the first one, I'm just not sure. I just can't tell anymore. I'm going to continue to say the onion until I get that right.
It's real. It's not the onion. Okay.
What?
Let's see if I can get you again. Or actually, I didn't get you.
You have no more. You have no story into that one. That you're just going to leave me hanging.
I don't have. I mean, all right. Here you go.
What was the message? Satan.
I guess they were like,
kids are coming to take their picture with Satan.
Yeah, I guess so.
Come bring your children to sit on Satan's lap.
Except that's not his lap.
Oh, what?
I'm just kidding. Here's
Satan. Another one.
Yeah,
Josh Brolin burned his anus while butthole suntanning.
Wait,
wait, say that again?
Josh Brolin
burned his anus while butthole tanning.
First of all,
onion or not onion?
I'm gonna say onion.
I'm gonna say onion again.
No, that's real.
Oh God!
Are they all real? Is that
the
joke?
And you just said
that's the joke. They're all real.
They're not all real. They're not all real.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry.
What? You can Google it.
Are we going to brush over the anus tanning?
Yeah. Are we going to brush over all of this?
Yeah, I mean, so wait, that's real. So
let's reminisce here for a minute.
First of all, when you say Josh Brolin,
now I have more questions than I had before.
Right. Yeah. I just thought, do you how do you have to do you
and all I think about
and you
is
have a clamp and just keep it underneath the light?
I'm about to tell you. He reveals the sunburn.
He's a really rich guy, and so I'm thinking he's not going to do something uncomfortable.
He lets me see it.
You can see it? Oh, he lets you see it.
Well, for the sake of beauty.
Well, give us your first-hand experience then.
All right, hold on. I'm trying to look at Josh Brolin's butthole.
I think he sets up a series of mirrors to kind of bounce the light so that it is funneled into a perfect spot, and then he just sets up his anus right in front of that.
After trying new butt sunning bandwagon. Butt sunning. That's what they're calling it. It's not even I'm tanning my cheeks. It's butt sunning.
Somebody share the Instagram photo. For the love of God.
I got it.
Hold on. You got it?
I got it.
Hi.
That is not Josh Brolin, though.
No, but he says... Tried this perineum sunning that I've been hearing about. Do not do it as long as I did. My pucker hole
is crazy burned, and it's something that's never seen the sun in 45 years.
You expose that for 10 seconds.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's probably already getting too sensitive.
1 minute is 10 years worth of sun exposure on that thing.
Yeah,
I don't know who the fuck thought of this stupid shit. Fuck you nonetheless.
My pucker hole. That's what I'm going to start calling it from now on.
Hashtag severe perineum burns. Wow. Hashtag Santa Monica Fire Department. He called the fire department to say, hey guys,
fire department,
I burnt my asshole.
Somebody go check that hashtag of severe perineum burns and see what's under there.
Can you? It's all
Josh. He's a pioneer. He started a movement.
Butt sunning, dude.
It's still him again. Who would upload pictures of them caring for their own butthole? I mean, come on.
And now he's got to drag the poor Santa Monica Fire Department into all of this shit.
With like burn victims and their inspiring stories of like how they like, you know, redeemed their lives after being in a horrifying fire accident, and then there's just someone's pucker hole right there.
Pucker hole. I love that.
That's terrible.
Imagine the 911 call though. Like, so what do you need? Like, do we need to send an ambulance? Nah, I don't know if I need an ambulance. Wait. Somebody come with some ointment or I can't drive myself to CVS to get aloe vera. So is that something the fire department does?
Apparently it's actually dangerous. It says here. David E. Bank,
really?
MD, founder of the Mount Kisco's Center for Dermatology, Cosmetic, and Laser Surgery, added that it is actually dangerous as the skin is particularly sensitive in addition to this potential sunburn. Eventually, it can result in an increased risk of skin cancer. Oh my God, imagine you got skin cancer on your asshole because you exposed it one time.
It was one time.
Once.
You've been taking care of your asshole so well for your entire life. Only
asshole
to screw it
sunburn, not even once.
Perineum.
My thing is like, at what point do you have to like? Okay, like let's talk about before making the decision to do that. So like, what? So why? So the reason I would imagine is because you don't want, you know, tan lines. Like you just don't. You want to be nice and even. I'm just saying everywhere. Like, if you are, like, you know, you're on a, you know, whatever. You're taking a girl back home, or do you want to, like, impress your wife, like, whatever.
Time out. Who's looking at your butthole?
Thank you.
That's my point. I'm trying to get there. You're skipping ahead here, James, but I like where your head's at. It's like,
you've seen your own butthole, Evan?
Yeah.
I've never seen my butthole.
Well, there are things
you should look
mirrors.
back there and make sure everything is A-okay. If you've never seen it, imagine
never
all
trust
the things
the doctor.
People have never seen and how bad those things usually come, like, end up. I've never seen my toes in 20 years. And it's like, holy shit. I got long-ass nails.
Yeah, that's so gross.
I want to check your butt.
I've seen my toes, but I really can't say I've ever seen
your
my
toes
butthole.
are a little different than your bums.
Guys, I've been Googling this perineum sunning because it sounds like something that I need to try. And
it sounds like something that if I knew anyone who would do it, and nobody gave me their name, I would immediately think, oh, well, it's AJ Panzica that tried it out.
Well, it's on, and I will let you know how it goes.
But I hear the weather is nice tomorrow.
Now that I know what I know, I'm going to limit my exposure. No, but I'm Googling it, and I'm trying to see, like, what is perineum sunning? Doctors warn against butthole exposure.
What's the word perennial mean?
Perineum. Perineum.
Perineum.
But it sounds
like... Latin? Sounds Latin.
Yeah, it's describing the orifice.
Perineum sunning is an ancient Taoist practice that originated in the Far East.
Wait, are you reading that?
In the Far East.
Dude, almost every single article that I see is from some kind of health or scientific source that says, like, it's a warning of the real effects according to doctors. And the only good thing I'm seeing here is from Cosmopolitan.
I'm seeing something from the Rolling Stones.
They've done the research.
Sorry, anus tanning is not really a thing.
Well, Cosmopolitan begs to differ. It says...
Wait, it doesn't make any sense because, like, you pay to get your asshole bleached. Now you're going to make it tan?
But you're not paying.
Who wants a dark asshole? A big brown butthole.
Going back to my point.
It's not about it. It's like it works on the same science as boofing. You know? Like, if you shoot some alcohol or some kind of narcotic up there, it's gonna take in because it soaks in through that membrane tissue, in your rectum. But like here, this guy claims that 30 seconds of direct sunlight injection to the anal orifice is equivalent to being outside in the sun all day. Right? Right.
Wait, I'm sorry. How long? How long?
Certified Health Nut on his Instagram caption. So we're taking the advice of at Certified Health Nut.
Crazy about health.
Okay, well, listen. Even if that's true, 15 seconds a day, cut that in half, right? 15 seconds a day, and you're good, man. And then you're tan. You're tan everywhere.
You know what they say? 15 seconds of asshole tanning a day keeps the doctor away.
It's all about calcium absorption, vitamin D, and regulating your immune system. It says it all right here in Cosmo.
Right, exactly.
In Cosmo.
So to me,
A+ doctors.
Speaking of Cosmo, shout out to my old and very first roommate, Tyler Humphreys, because we would literally spend time in like other people's dorms, girls' dorms, reading their Cosmo to learn the truth about what women think and getting inside their minds. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I think that was very wise. So, Tyler, if you ever see this, there's your shout out. I salute you. Now, back to my original
You already shouted him out.
I'm sorry?
Our first episode. You already shouted him out in the pilot.
I did?
Yeah.
So shout him out again. Hey, Tyler,
hiding
the podcast.
snooty mags in the dorm.
Oh, that's right. Hey, Tyler. Maybe that's a thing I just do. I just shout out Tyler every single time. Miss you, bud.
That would be impressive.
You voted off
Tyler's story.
So my question is, at what point in vanity would you have to get to actually want to tan every inch of your? Because I imagine you've done it all. You've done it everywhere else. You've tanned the front. You've tanned everything. Your cheeks even. But the orifice, you've left untouched, and that's like the final frontier, if you will. So at what point do you have to get to say, I just don't feel like a complete human being if I don't tan every, like, it sounds like this would come straight from California. You know what I mean? But I don't know. What do I know?
Yeah, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. Take it from me. I'm pale. The sun is my
but
mortal
the more
enemy.
you tell me not to do it, though,
the more you want to do it.
I mean, I didn't say it. You did.
That's how I feel about heroin, dude. Everyone's like, "Don't do it." I'm like, "Yo, I really want to do it." Just kidding.
It's like you're gonna have a bad time.
I'm just kidding. No, but seriously. No, I'm just kidding.
But seriously.
Sorry, guys.
I'll leave you with two more. All right, we'll do two more.
We were talking about buttholes so much. I was like, what about butthole tattooing? And
this
is
are
what
bad.
I found. Oh my god! Look at her face. Oh no!
That's just rage. That's like pure rage. She's
like, who's gonna spend that much time to really appreciate it?
That's the thing, but if you're doing
how
that,
then you
are
to show somebody.
Right. But I feel like if you're doing that, then you are looking for someone else to appreciate. Otherwise, it's who's that for yourself? Are you in the mirror like
somebody didn't love you enough?
For yourself.
You guys want to move on to real or fake product that I have? Some of these products are ridiculous.
Is it made by Cinco?
Yes.
No, fuck you and your dumbass games.
I mean, we could play games with me. We could do 3. It doesn't have to be a game. I want you guys to all right.
Reindeer games.
Listen to this one. The Urinal Golf Club. Real or fake?
Real. That's real. I know that's real.
100%
it is real.
That's real.
It is real.
100%.
Right.
That sounds like a blast.
Wait, what do you
Control
use as the clubs? Lip balm.
Mind Control Lip balm.
Lip balm.
No.
That's not a product.
Real.
Who's controlling whose mind?
Really full of shit.
How about the penis bidet?
Like clean inside the urethra?
Oh no! Don't even say that, Julian. That's not a That's not a feeling I want to imagine.
No, I agree, which is why I would hope that that's not real.
Real or fake?
That's real.
I'm afraid to answer.
Fake.
Well, thank goodness.
How about the portable sauna?
Real.
It is real.
No,
real. Dope,
okay,
actually.
wait, it gets better.
Yeah, that's
How
gotta
about
be real.
sauna pants?
Yes.
Also real.
What kind of heating mechanism is able to produce that many
my question.
BTUs in a pair of pants?
I'm pretty sure the pants heat up and they make you sweat. I'm pretty sure that's what I remember seeing.
You just have wood pants.
Yeah.
You have to slowly add water to it.
There's coals in there, like
no, these are
just clanking around.
They're just like really like pants that make you want to sweat, but it's not like it's cooking you or anything.
No, not like a real sauna.
No, it's cooking you. It's totally cooking. Oh yeah, you get that
from the
200,
inside out.
225.
What about
sunglass? Put a fork in him. He's done.
Sunglass binoculars.
You tell me.
Sunglass binoculars.
I say that's a real product.
That's plausible.
Fake.
What?
How about dump?
Seems so obvious.
Dump dinners.
Dump dinners.
Dump dinners.
That's real. That's like a trademark of that TV chef.
It is. It is dump.
Let me show you how to make my famous dump cakes. Yeah, my mom used to make dump cakes.
All right, I'm done.
Good?
Come on.
Dump
yeah, you dump a bunch of shit in a cake and it's delicious.
Yeah, dump cake.
What are you having for dinner tonight? Dump.
Dump cake.
My favorite, dump.
Dump classic.
Jimmy, you should come over tonight. My mom's making dump.
We got dump cakes, we got dump pies, we got dump raviolis, dump dumplings. Oh, dump dumplings.
Mr. Dump.
This is what I imagine the sauna pants would look like if they were pants.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? Like instead of a shirt.
Is that the kid from the Little Rascals? Is that Buckwheat?
It's Buckwheat, dude. He's on a new joint venture with wooden shirts.
God.
Oh, man.
You got sauna pants from these. Shout out to guys if you've never. All right,
that kid definitely grew up and is like, "Yo, I'm gonna hotbox that suit."
This is
what are you racist?
No,
this is a good
that
plug.
Was racist.
Have you guys ever watched the show Dave on Hulu?
You mean Lil Dicky?
Yes. Did you watch it?
I've heard it's good.
I've heard about it. I haven't seen it.
First of all, it's freaking hilarious. Lil Dicky is, to me, I don't know. I appreciate Lil Dicky a lot. Some of his tracks are just absolutely hysterical. Like I can't get over it. So he made a show on FX. Hulu's got it. Dave, and this is an episode from Dave, and it's hilarious. Yeah, dude, he's like that's like Trippie Redd's son or something like that, and his like producers taking him out, and Trippie Redd's got like just like like get him whatever he wants, and this guy is selling wooden shirts. He wants one. So he gets it for him.
I was gonna say, so like, what is that?
That is
what
such
is it supposed
a
to be?
product.
It's a wooden shirt.
It's literally a wooden shirt.
Dude, it's such a failure as a shirt because he has to wear a shirt underneath it.
Well, he's trying it on.
So you don't get
here.
a splinter from
It's
your
just for
shirt.
extra protection, you know?
One might say that it's not even a shirt.
Yeah.
I looked up those sauna pants. You can get a pair of sauna pants for like $30.
Oh yeah,
guys.
AJ for next stream, you gotta wear them.
Yo, Billy Bobby Productions should pay for that, so we all wear sauna pants and like go like a week.
Imagine
or something like that.
We're here and you just see us start sweating profusely. Like, why
guys,
are you so sweaty? Like, he's
constantly
sauna
adjusting.
pants.
I am sweating profusely.
You know how much weight I've lost?
Yeah, so this is the part in the episode where we ask everybody to donate so that we can all be wearing matching sauna pants next episode.
Sauna pants.
And call me in the morning.
Nathan, for you.
Call me immediately after.
This episode of the Billy Bobbies is sponsored by Nathan for you.
Nathan Fielder. Shout out, dude. You're a genius.
Just
all right?
send us an email and a check.
And a check.
I'm saluting a lot of people today. I'm just like Nathan Fielder, Tyler Humphreys, Dave Grohl, just everyone and their mother. Well, not
Jesus
your mother,
Christ.
just you guys. JC
up top. Speaking of Jesus Christ, Where does Jesus Christ belong in the bedroom?
Watching. Always watching.
Framed in a picture above my bed. That's what it is.
Always watching.
Always watching Wazowski. This was something that I wanted to bring up last time, but we kind of ran out of time. But I've been stumbling across the interwebs and saw a blog title that caught my eye from somebody that I knew back in the day. It was, "Do I have to have sex with my husband?"
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. If you don't, you
well, so this girl me and Julian come from a pretty conservative background, sexually speaking, because the Christian community, there's a lot of miscommunications in what's kosher, what's not kosher. I know I'm kind of mixing religions there, but you get what I mean.
Great choice of words there.
But so like we've had a lot of conversations over the years about like sex before marriage. Is it cool? Is it not? What does the Bible say about it? Blah blah blah. And this girl is kind of like
2 thumbs up.
She's like the poster child for like waiting until your marriage night and just being so disappointed because like it had been built up to be this unbelievable, incredible thing, and like I don't know. I've been reading through her blog, man. It's very interesting. Because like she couldn't have sex for like the first 2 years of their marriage because it was painful for her.
Wow, that guy's got a monster.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's number one. Number two. So I'm sorry. Repeat that again. For how long?
She's
come again.
She said
nice choice of words,
that it was very painful for her, and not just like the first or second time, but like continually. And then like everyone she went to was like, "Oh, no, that's normal in the beginning. You'll get over it." And she's like, "But it's not going away."
How old are they? Like our age?
They graduated high school with me. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But like for me, I'm a guy. Like I'm looking at this, and I just feel so much embarrassment on my friend's behalf because like every blog has a picture of the two of them like holding each other, and it's like they're not good.
Does he know about this?
What? I don't know. Some of these headlines: 5 lies I believed about sex and how I had learned them. 7 ways I found healing from painful sex. Purity versus virginity, are they the same thing? Why did God create sex? And like,
I don't think purity and virginity are the same
thing. Like, no, they are.
In her perspective, I guess it was.
Right.
She was being told a lot of things, but
I'm still pure.
That's the thing. Like, so even for me, like, so
you are.
Like, even for me, like, I still prescribe. Is that the right word? I still like believe in in this camp that she is like coming from, and I still try to like practice that. But even for me, like I agree that like that this is a little like I don't know. It's misleading.
Careful with your words, Julian.
Yeah, exactly.
You're too pure.
So I will say that I still have not engaged in the, and it's different for guys. Like the experience is going to be different for guys and different for girls. In the P to the V vaginal intercourse. However, you know. And I've heard this isn't the first time that I've heard this from people. Is that the first but obviously to me that just seems normal. Like that's also what I hear about people's experience is okay, it's not going to be all that great in the beginning, frankly.
Yeah.
Right.
The first few times you have sex, it's sloppy and it's
nobody knows what they're doing.
There's a learning curve for sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And so it's it's kind of okay, and then I hear things like I don't know, I don't know. It's just it definitely seems like it's something that's understood, I guess. I mean, I haven't read her blog. I'm flipping through it right now, just looking at the titles.
I'm gonna read a little bit of it so you guys can get a taste. Because, like, well, all right. It, like you said, this isn't the first time I've kind of heard this stuff, and, like, I've thought about it a lot, but I've never really heard it from a girl's perspective like this, even though I kind of feel like, I think it's different for girls and guys, too.
Yeah, definitely.
But, you know, going into marriage as a woman, like not knowing anything about sex, and then having it be like a horrible experience for a while, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But she says, before I got married, I remembered
it's unfortunate, man. It sucks.
Yeah. I remember talking to many married women about sex.
What's the title of what you're reading right now?
Okay. This one is do I have to have sex with my husband? This was the most recent one.
Oh, man.
Before I got married, I remember talking to married women about sex. I want to know everything. Did it hurt the first time? Do you like having sex? What if I don't like it? And the major one I always ask is, what do I do when my husband wants to have sex, but I don't want to? When my husband wants to have sex with me, but I'm not in the mood, I usually have it anyway as a way to honor him, was a typical answer I received. I stopped in my tracks. What? You're saying that even if you don't want to have sex, you still have to do it for his sake? What about it being my body? What about consent? What about if you're tired or in pain? I was absolutely dumbfounded. Fast forward many more years to my current situation. I've been married 4.5 years, and I still struggle with sex being painful and healing from negative messages from growing up in a purity culture.
So, dude, I'm not laughing at what you're reading, by the way. I was. Oh man, I did not mean to type "I'm naked as fuck."
You're just listening to all this talk about sex, and you Google what naked as fuck.
Wait, start that over so we have a seamless thing.
It was a Freudian slip.
Well, but apparently this girl has a hard time reconciling, you know, her healing body from trauma and what the Bible tells you that sex actually is. And then she talks about a lot of stuff.
So what does she say the Bible says sex actually is?
Yes. Yeah, what does she say that blog is so long. I mean, this is pages.
Also,
like about obligation versus stewardship. It talks about the underlying issue. I'm just reading the headlines.
Also, wait, if you're married, why are you having sex just to appease the other person?
Well, apparently for my friend who has also been waiting his entire life to have sex, like finally getting married and then being married to a woman that doesn't want to have sex for years into the marriage, I think that can cause a little bit of tension.
Oh, no. What I mean is, like, the girls are like, well, the times that I don't want to have sex because I'm too tired or blah, blah. Okay, but those are, like, real reasons you don't want to have sex. Just be like, nah, then I would be pissed. Hell yeah. Like, or if it hurts, like, all right, well, let's find out how to make it not hurt. You're tired or you're busy or you got to go to bed. Like, I can't control that, but everything else, like, let's make it fucking happen, yo. Like, I'm not going to let anything come between me. But I can't blame you for, like, being tired and shit. You know, what am I going to do? Leave?
I don't know, man.
She's tired all the time.
I don't think it's like... It's not that big of a deal.
Have you guys ever...
when you can.
Have you guys ever had sex with your girlfriend even though you didn't want to?
Yes.
But I think it's easier for guys to do that.
Why are you not going to answer that question?
Wait. Not as in, like, I didn't want to.
Not with your current girlfriend necessarily, just in general.
I mean, like, have I had bad experiences before? Yeah. Have I been, like, reluctant at sometimes? Sure. I mean, definitely.
So then that rule should be the same for guys or girls. Like, if you don't want to have sex, you don't have to have sex, no matter if you're married or not. Like,
this isn't
consent is consent.
Not a slave.
Yeah, exactly.
Until we get in the bedroom.
But my question though is, like, she's blaming. It sounds like she's blaming scripture, where it's like, even personally, like, I don't see where scripture talks about like that being the problem. Like the problem is like with you, it's like, well, you guys need to communicate and figure that out. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like I don't know about anywhere in scripture that says like, don't have like always have sex with your husband
when he wants to.
Like what?
Well, she says it's 2 Corinthians 5:22.
Shut the hell up.
And it's well, when I was well, wait, hold on. What I was going to say is the only thing I think about, which always is always brought up in these matters, is the verse where it says like wives submit to your husbands. And it's just like when you start taking like verses and just taking things out of context and you start just like looking at that one-sidedly, like, yeah, like that sounds terrible. But no one talks about the verse after that says like, and husbands, like, respect and love your wives. And there's like this whole bigger context. Like that's not what's being talked about. So I feel like it's like there are people out there who are probably misinterpreting what they're being taught and saying, well, it's like, well, I have to submit to everything my husband wants to do. So if he wants to
that's
do
actually what
stuff,
this blog is all about. To give her a little bit of credit here is like we're hitting some key funny things. Like if you're taking out of context exactly what you said. But these blog posts are about going back to those scriptures that she heard growing up that kind of people isolated them, and she's like, oh, well, this is what it really says. This is because her point is mostly, about, strengthening your marriage first, and your marriage has to include the scripture and all that. But
you think she'll ever see this?
Probably not.
Okay, good.
Especially since it's towards the end of the episode. But so like the last thing I wanted to bring up, and Julian, I want your opinion on this, is the very last paragraph in her blog about why did God create sex.
Wait, hold on. Let me find this so I can look at
because it feels good and I like.
What page is it? Why? This is the last one. It's sterile and I like the taste. The last paragraph that starts with having sex.
Yeah. Having sex is one tiny glimpse. Oh, you want to both read it, or just
read it together?
Yeah, God, we should read it together.
Yeah.
Don't read it together.
Having sex is one. Okay, stop. Okay. This is terrible. I shouldn't be laughing. Having sex is one tiny glimpse into being reunited with Christ. Being one with my spouse through the act of sex offers me the slightest view into eternity with my Heavenly Father, because we were always meant to be reunited with God. I am not home yet. One day I will be back to my true home in heaven, but until then, God has given me the gift of sex with my spouse to give me the earthly form of being one with my Creator.
This sounds like she's never had. This sounds like she's never had an orgasm before.
You're probably right. It hurts.
I think her hymen's still intact. I think she might still be a virgin.
But I don't think they're doing it right.
They've been playing just the tip.
I don't. God is the last thing I think about when I'm doing anything.
Well, okay, so this is what I'll say. You asked for my opinion.
Anything. Grandma, grandpa, me dying.
It's probably like more of like a tertiary thought.
This is what I
gotta think of two other things that lead me to thinking about that. What are you saying?
Okay.
Being a Christian, I think like taking that just reading that paragraph is definitely taking out of context. Like if she writes this whole big thing and this is the first time where she's kind of making that connection, yes, then it's a little weird. In fact, it's very weird just reading it by herself. But there's a lot about, like the metaphor of like the love between married people and the love that like Christ has for his people.
I can get
and so
that.
Like, and I get that that's what she's probably getting at, and that she's using sex as a a highly a way to like engage into the spiritual like realm, like soul bonding. You know what I mean?
Dude, that would just destroy my boner.
That's I think part of what like
there would be no way.
That's I think
that's her main problem right now.
But that's honestly I think like what people. No, go ahead.
She's gonna lay off reading scripture while she's having sex, man. She's gonna cut that shit out.
Well, that's. I think
we're gonna be here for 2.5 minutes. I have other things I gotta do. Can we not make a ceremony out of this?
But I think that's part of her point is that sex, you know, what she's saying, and scripturally, sex is supposed to be more of a sacred like act between like two people. And that her point is that it's become something that's like just like, all right, well, let's just like bang real quick so that we like have this like we fit these like needs or whatever. So I think that's why like, and I think most people like if they're having sex with the experience that I've heard is that if two people who care about each other are having sex, that there's something more that's happening, right? It's not just like, you know, boning or whatever. It's like there's something so like there's something else that's happening.
Though. Yeah, and sometimes I think that was one of the bigger lies coming from that world and then leaving that world for the life of sex. But yeah. I think that like there's definitely something special that happens when you have sex with somebody who you have a real connection with. But like
definitely.
It's not just automatically going to be like that. And it's definitely not going to be like that all the time throughout your marriage. So, like, you know, I don't think anybody in the Christian community is really preparing these kids that, like, what's it going to look like having sex with the same person so many times for the rest of your life? Like, there are going to be boring days. There are going to be all sorts of stuff that you'll need to spice it up. But then, like, you don't want that to reflect on God, right? Because if it's not a super spiritual experience and it's just sex, you know, deeper into your marriage, I don't know. Like, are you going to then question God?
Well, I think that.
Whoa.
Well, I think that there's a difference between. So, like, if something is sacred, right? Like, let's just say, like, you take something that's sacred, and you can make that. No, laugh at me. Like, I don't care.
No, I had a picture of like somebody running out into the rain of like their backyard, and they're just being like after like the last time they ever had sex, and they're just like, "Curse you, God!"
Lightning and
you never know when that's gonna actually happen.
But I think people feel like that. Like they have they have sex, they have this idea that it's like this magical thing that like God's in the room, like watching happen, or like, or if I don't feel something. Yeah, exactly.
Look at James.
But I still think that there's a difference between like, you can take something that's sacred and make it not sacred, like with our actions or with our beliefs or whatever. And I'm not saying that like, and no one ever said, even scripture isn't saying that like, oh, this sacred act is like gonna feel good all the time. Anytime you do it, it's gonna feel like good, or it's going to fulfill all your needs or whatever.
Oh, it feels good.
Yeah, exactly.
Feels like being one with my creator.
Right. And so I feel like people interpret things where they're just like, oh, well, I didn't feel that thing. It must not be real. It's like, oh, well, I don't necessarily think that that's the truth.
All right, so I've had sex, fucking obviously. James, you've had sex.
Bullshit.
Not a fucking.
Evan, you've just been lying to us this whole time.
This whole time I've been a virgin forever.
Yeah. Have any of us actually seen it? So
what happens when it's 20 years from now and you like leather and she only wants to prone book? Like, and now you're going to a gay nightclub. Yeah, now you're going to a gay nightclub because they'll do whatever you want them to do, and your wife doesn't know about it. You know, like, That's what I'm worried about.
What?
Yeah, totally.
I'm making shit up. Come on.
I can relate.
People are like onions, right? You gotta take the layers off.
Ogres have layers.
You know.
James, continue.
But like,
yeah,
James, but you've been very quiet this episode, and you bring us Shrek wisdom,
right?
Shrekisms.
I'm kind of like a parfait.
But it's just like sometimes you see someone who they like truly are when they're most comfortable, and when you're around someone and you guys are depending on each other, you kind of see the real character of the person, right? But you don't always get that opportunity, right? Like sometimes, based on whatever family you're trying to marry into or whatever, you don't really have that option, right? Like that's kind of like a lucky thing, I guess, that there's another criteria, another box to check off, whether or not you guys want to do that.
And I think that's huge. I think that's part of our natural desire to know whether or not this is someone that we want to spend the rest of our life with, right? We want to know their character. We want to know everything about them. We want to know what it would be like to live with them. We want to know if we're sexually compatible or how sexually compatible that we are. And so all those desires are natural, I think. But I think from the perspective of someone who thinks that who believes that marriage really that there's a sanctity of marriage, that where it's on this level, it's like this is like an unbroken thing. It's like we'll work through whatever, that those things all of a sudden seem to be a little less important. It's like we will figure it out, we will work through those things. I don't need to know how we're going. It's things like I don't need to know how your not sexual preference, because that's pretty important, but you're
we've been married
in
for
the
7
bedroom
years. Actually,
I'm
Just
in the bedroom
it happens. Stuff like that happens all the time.
Right.
Governor McGreevy.
It does.
Governor McGreevy.
Exactly. And you want to know those things. But something like living together, I understand the desire for living together before, but people who think about marriage in that way, and myself included, don't think that that's necessary to know about the person. It's not important enough, almost.
I find that more important than sex.
That's the thing. To someone like me, I'm gonna if there's an issue that comes up, we're gonna figure out a way to resolve that together. And it's you don't I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example. But there should almost if I'm going to decide to get married to this person, there's not going to be an example strong enough for me to be this just isn't working out, because a marriage involves sacrifice. A marriage involves compromise, all that stuff. And you totally understand, everyone totally understands that. But there's a desire that we want to figure those things out before, when I don't think it's personally, and me and other people, I don't think it's necessary.
Well, on that terrible joke, let's wrap it up. We're gonna go into a nice little segment called Final Thoughts.
Viral thoughts?
Final thoughts. Where you get to say your last comment on
thoughts.
Anything that we've been talking about. Evan, we're starting with you.
Me?
Yeah.
Don't tan your asshole because you'll die. PSA.
No.
Keep your asshole
That's
covered.
not based on science. You have to limit the exposure.
All right. If you're covering
30
your face,
seconds.
Cover your ass.
30 seconds will last you a whole day of assholeing.
But you don't want a
But
whole
if you
day.
go over
20 to
you go
15,
over, you're gonna
15 is
die.
Do it right before work.
You go over, you have to call the fire
Do it as
department.
your morning ritual.
All right. Okay, so 15
Honestly,
seconds.
time of day is key, because if you're doing it and it's 2 p.m., that's prime time. If you're doing it in the morning, it's indirect sunlight.
Yeah.
It's anyway.
Imagine you've got the fold-out mirror thing underneath it to capture the fucking.
That's what I was thinking. Oh my god.
Anyway, Jules,
James.
Oh, final thoughts? No, I don't have any. I don't. I'm all right.
He's naked. So.
Looking swag daddy in those sunglasses.
He's naked.
It's just so hot out here.
So naked.
It's so hot on this beach.
You should have just done the whole episode shirtless. It would have been like
no, nobody wants to see that.
What if you're like so white that it just it all fills in with the background anyway, and you're just a floating head?
No, you wouldn't see my head. It would just be like hair.
Yeah.
Final thoughts would have been: listen, just limit it to 15 seconds, and I think you're golden, literally golden. And the other thing is for a proper, I'll say proper virgin. I'll talk about the Christian perspective about sex all day.
All day.
I don't know. Some people say like half virgin, like all half virgin, all that stuff, like whatever. But
well, obviously people got questions, right?
We got answers.
Yeah.
And the Christian community is looking for smart intellectuals like you to bring answers. That makes sense.
I got answers right here.
Extra special vagina? Is that what that stands for?
Yes.
AJ, what about you?
And it's for me.
My lingering thought was just, I mean, talking all about this God in the bedroom, no matter what your actual, like, Julian presented a lot of sound theology that, like, you can't argue with. Like, if that's what you believe, then, like, I respect you for believing it 100%. But then, like, I just keep thinking about God, watching. Like, every time you have sex, it's a threesome.
No matter what, that's weird.
Is he filming? Is he like, yo, let me get this POV?
Always one.
Oh, dude, I thought you almost fell down that waterfall.
Don't listen to him. He's naked, that's weird. All right? Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him.
But yeah, so I don't know what God's attitude in the bedroom is, but I think that his enthusiasm would be a big, determining factor on how I'm going to perform. So I hope he's rooting for me.
Can we get a fluffer in here? We need more fluff. Just stop what you're doing. Just wait. I made this for a reason.
All right. We'll be back,
y'all. That was awesome. Yes.
Peace.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Wait, we can wish everyone
yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, watching.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Mom.
Smash that subscribe.
Subscribe.
Bye.
I'm stopping.
We're watching a lot of
people
Peter
about
McKinnon,
next week.
So.
We can keep going.
Yeah, what's going on next week? What are we talking about?
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Shut up.
Hey, okay.
Like Jake Gyllenhaal?
No, like Maggie Gyllenhaal.
You really know her?
Talented
No, you
one.
don't.
I don't know if she's. Dude, are you kidding me right now? Dude, absolutely. She's coming on.
I hate
next week. Maggie Gyllenhaal. We'll talk about. What are we talking about with her?
What it feels like to be the ugliest actress in Hollywood.
Oh, that's right. But she's got the talent. So either way.
Dude, what? She's not talented either. I don't know why people watch her. Hashtag Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I don't think she's that bad.
That's unnecessary.
I don't think she's attractive, but I think she's all right. I'll watch her in movies.